What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Vince McMahon causing chaos, with tension mounting between him and Triple H, WWE loves this stable, WWE torn over Bloodline match, is The Rock playing the God of War Kratos, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good is number 1, Sami Zayn vs Gunther, delivered. Sami Zayn vs Gunther delivered the good and then some, as the General threw back his latest challenger with plenty of help from the Imperium despite a strong effort from the gutsy challenger. This match was all about setting up Riddle vs Gunther at Money in the Bank, but it was still a brilliant bout. Number 2, Judgment Day, better than ever. The Judgment Day have shown they are better than ever and still working hard to improve themselves, as seen by their matches and promos throughout Raw. What more can we say about the Judgment Day that hasn't been said actually a lot, as we'll see in the news. Number 3, Seth Rollins gives Carmelo Hayes the rub. Seth Rollins gave Carmelo Hayes the rub last night, thanking the NXT champion for helping him out last week on NXT and essentially giving him the Rollins rub. Once again, the Visionary showed just how seriously he's been taking his role as World Heavyweight Champion, using the belt to give the fans first-class matches while also putting over other stars. It's the true mark of a champion and a class act. Number 4, Women's Summit. Last night's Women's Summit between the various entrants in the Women's Ladder match was predictable but fun. To no one's surprise, the segment broke down into a Pier 6 brawl, reminding fans that the match is about more than winning the all-important briefcase, but also about the feuds between several wrestlers competing in the match. Number 5, solid main event. Cody Rhodes vs Damian Priest was a proper main event, with Cody getting the win but also making Priest look really good. While some might criticize the WWE for putting Cody over Priest when the Archer of Infamy has a big bout at Money in the Bank, Damian isn't quite on Cody's level yet, and it was refreshing to see the WWE go with a decisive win rather than taking the easy way out with a DQ or a countout. But that was good. What about the bad? Is number 1, why is WWE wasting time with Miz and Ciampa? The Miz vs Tommaso Ciampa is a pointless program that should have ended last week. Both wrestlers are tremendous grapplers, but as we argued last week, Ciampa is getting nothing out of beating The Miz. They need to move both men into different programs ASAP. Number 2, a very mid show. Does the WWE have a major event happening this Saturday? Well, although Raw mentioned Money in the Bank, last night's show didn't feel like a build-up for a PLE, and it was quite an average episode of Raw. Now, I'm not blaming Vince McMahon for this, although you may feel otherwise after reading the news, but whoever threw this show together did a slapdash job. Number 3, filler and formulaic booking. Indeed, Raw had far too much filler and formulaic booking that reeks of laziness. Dominic vs Akira Tozawa was a complete waste of time, other than getting Tozawa some TV time, while Raquel Rodriguez vs Ronda Rousey was formulaic booking at its very worst. Why is that the WWE feels the need to book tag team wrestlers in singles matches before their tag match? Raquel Rodriguez's loss to Ronda Rousey was as predictable as this Saturday's Women's Tag Team Championship match will be. The Seth Rollins-Finn Balor brawl was fun but completely expected. Why is it that WWE can pull off some impressively creative angles yet fall back on lazy booking? That was nothing downright ugly, but a rather tame episode of Raw compared to the past weeks. We're not going to speculate on what happened, but it was clear that something or someone made the show into a bit of a mess. What do you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. At first, we looks at Vince McMahon causing chaos in creative. Atop of today's news are follow-up stories from yesterday's report that Vince McMahon appears to not only be taking a bigger role in creative, but possibly seizing control of the process from Triple H. Dave Meltzer spoke about this on the Wrestling Observer Radio recently, noting how Mr. McMahon messed with the 23rd June SmackDown. He redid the entire show SmackDown. I've heard a lot about this, and I know that there were rumors that everyone's got to be like treading on water, because I am sure logic will tell you that there are many unhappy people, and Paul Levesque has to be one of them. These are matches that were built up with promos. They've been promoted for a week. They did the angles last week, and then they just take them away like nothing. So it's got to be frustrating for the writers. It's got to be frustrating for Paul Levesque. Meltzer summed things up in the situation in terms of whether Triple H can voice his concerns. Even if you're Paul Levesque, you can't say anything to Vince because you're effed if you say anything to Vince. Obviously, this situation could be catastrophic to the WWE locker room's morale as superstars enjoyed merely a year of Triple H's creative vision, as well as what was reportedly a much more relaxed work environment. Give Me Sport is reporting, despite only altering a handful of shows, frustration is mounting within the company, and there was reportedly a backstage meeting last night at Raw to discuss Vince's involvement, the outcome of which is still unknown. Mike Johnson from PW Insider noted before Raw aired that the show would have Vince's fingerprints. He also remarked that it's likely Vince will take the reins of creative once the WWE Endeavor merger is complete. As for last night's Raw, Dave Meltzer commented on one of the rumored Raw rewrites, discussing how Vince McMahon cancelled a planned match between Shotzi and Natalya that could have led to one of the two superstars entering the Women's Money in the Bank match. I mean, it was one of those things that was cancelled. They were going to do it as late as the day of the show on Friday. Meltzer mused on the other pieces of the show that had McMahon's fingerprints on them. You notice that Ciampa dyed his beard? That's another sign of Vince McMahon. You know, Vince hates grey, and Ciampa came back with a grey beard like he usually has, and he dyed it. As discussed in our Raw analysis, the show was all over the place at times, another sign Mr. You-Know-Who was meddling. Do you think Vince is taking a more active role in the WWE's creative department? If so, is it a negative or a plus to you? Next up, WWE Loves Them. The Judgment Day is over big with the universe, and they're not alone, as word has it that WWE loves the group's work as well as the efforts of each member's Raw's fearsome foursome. While this may appear self-evident in the light of the faction's push, Fightful Select recently elaborated on what's caught WWE management's eye, beginning with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was put over heavily for working through her knee issues that she'd spoken about in the past. However, her willingness to improve and help get everyone else over by contributing as a manager was also highlighted. Another long-time WWE staffer said it would be easy for her to just be concerned about a creative surrounding the title. We've also heard that there are situations where she was supposed to dominate and was happy to give her opponent more offense. The Fightful report also discussed the WWE's happiness with Finn Balor easily adapting to any role he was asked, and how thrilled officials were with Damian Priest's performance against Bad Bunny at Backlash. Finally, Dominic Mysterio was lauded for stepping up by wrestling a variety of opponents and making media appearances for the company. Fightful added, WWE has been putting Dominic in a variety of situations and against a variety of opponents in the ring in order to get him to use a variety of styles and opponents. The WWE certainly isn't done with the Judgment Day, as it's been reported that WWE recently applied for trademark protection for the Judgment Day. Next up, WWE torn over Bloodline match. Who is going to win the Bloodline Civil War match between the Usos and the team of Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa? Apparently even the WWE doesn't know yet, as at least according to a report from WrestleVotes, which tweeted, hearing WWE has two very drastic finishes in play for the Bloodline matchup on Saturday. Creative seems split on the decision. In conjunction, I'm told that Usos and Solo were part of a run-through session this past Friday at a closed location to go over things. Could WrestleVotes remark that Creative seems split on the decision, meaning a Creative and Vince McMahon are split on the decision? If so, we'll know who will win the battle. For our pick on the match, be sure to check out our rumors and predictions videos. Next up, WWE preparing big things for Carmelo Hayes. What do WWE officials think about current NXT champion Carmelo Hayes and his future in the promotion? He worked on last night's Raw, dropping a match to Finn Balor. However, don't think Hayes' loss is evidence of his future in the WWE. News site WRKD Wrestling tweeted, NXT champion Carmelo Hayes is expected to be involved with WWE Raw tonight. Many backstage feel as though the 28-year-old has high potential to be a major player in the company for years to come. The only thing that may be in the way of Hayes is Vince McMahon, as Carmelo's size may be seen as a liability to him. And finally, is The Rock playing God of War's Kratos? And last but not least, what's this about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Kratos in the upcoming Prime Video adaptation of the wildly popular video game God of War? A recent tweet from Red Lightning claims the directors for God of War are strongly considering casting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Kratos in a new adaptation of God of War premiering on Amazon Prime. The tweet even cited celebrity news and gossip site TMZ as a source. Should anyone buy into this story though? According to the website alt/cart, the user Red Lightning, who is well known for publishing leaks that later turned out to be accurate, provided this information on his Twitter profile, but the source TMZ, which he cited in a tweet, provided no info on the subject. Furthermore, Corey Balrog, who's been an essential part of the series since it debuted in 2005, tweeted, "I've literally never heard anything about this." Well, this doesn't mean the story is rubbish, but fans should take it with a grain of salt, knowing that keeping fans in the dark about future plans by disinformation isn't limited to wrestling promoters. Whilst rumors were The Rock could be playing Kratos, what about Batista or Triple H as a more suitable actor? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.